In the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful. Hello. I am William, and in this clip we are going to learn more about the Great Wall of China. So stay with me. At approximately 21,196 kilometers long, the Great Wall of China is the longest structure on Earth and was built to defend against enemy attacks from the northern regions that threatened the Chinese empires. Interestingly, some historians have stated that the primary purpose of building the Great Wall was to prevent foreigners from entering. The opposite has happened today, and China welcomes millions of foreign tourists every year. What we know today about the Great Wall of China is a collection of different buildings that millions of workers lost their lives to build. While this wall did not have much effect in preventing the attack of invaders, and today it is only considered as a symbol of the lasting power of Chinese civilization. The Great Wall of China was registered as a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1987 and is considered one of the most incredible engineering feats the world has ever seen. The Great Wall of China was built by different dynasties over a period of 2,000 years, and over the centuries, its construction techniques have gradually improved. In fact, a careful study of the history of the Great Wall of China shows how this structure was created, and one can understand the evolution of Chinese design and construction methods. The modern Great Wall of China, most people's image of the Great Wall of China is associated with the magnificent structures near Beijing that were built during the Ming Dynasty during the 15th and 16th centuries and reflect significantly more advanced construction techniques and materials. The early Wall of China, the early parts of the wall were built 2,000 years ago, and as a result, they had less technique and strength. Most of these parts have been lost after centuries of erosion. However, parts of it still remain after thousands of years of weathering. Due to the availability of local soil, most of the Great Wall of China was built with clay-rich soil using the hangtu technique. For this purpose, they poured the pounded soil on the layers of wood and then pounded it, and repeated the same method for the rest of the layers. Each layer was 18 centimeters high, which reached 13 centimeters when pounded. Interestingly, this wall is not a continuous structure and includes a series of walls and fortifications that have been formed over hundreds of years. Many smaller walls were built between the 8th and 5th centuries BC to defend the borders of each state, but after the unification of China in 221 BC, the Chinese dynasty ordered the destruction of these walls and the construction of new walls to connect some of the existing walls. The first emperor of the Qin dynasty ordered 300,000 soldiers to start building the Great Wall, and in the meantime, rural people and farmers were used to supplement the workforce. The builders of the wall always tried to use local resources, therefore, the walls passing through the mountains were made of stone, and the walls passing through the plains were rammed with earth. The construction of the Great Wall of China in the desert was accompanied by a series of challenges, because the material available to the builders was only sand, and therefore, they took initiative and used the combination of sand and native plants of the desert. Throughout the Great Wall's history, when China's relationship with other countries was peaceful, the wall was used as a trade market for different cultures to meet and trade goods. After many years of economic and cultural exchanges along the various passages Along the wall, many cities were formed, including Zhangjiago, Gobaiko, etc. During the Song dynasty, 1127 to 1279 AD, China saw the rise of a new breed of Mongol warriors, under the leadership of Genghis Khan, who formed a powerful and disciplined army and were considered a major threat to the entire Chinese Empire. Despite the significant fortifications, the Great Wall of China at that time was still made of centuries-old earthen walls that were not difficult to overcome. So in the following decades, the Mongols constantly found infiltration routes around or inside the wall until, in 1279, they defeated the Song dynasty and ruled all of China for 100 years. As expected, the Great Wall of China was not maintained and protected during this period, because no enemy threatened this government anymore. After pushing the Mongols back to the north, the Chinese regained power in 1368 AD and laid the groundwork for the beginning of the Ming dynasty. In this period, despite the increasing pressure and threats of the Mongols, the reconstruction of the Great Wall of China began and 25,000 guard towers were built. During the Ming dynasty, they built a stronger wall by using more bricks and stones and lime mortar. In this way, brick factories were established near the Great Wall of China. Over time, about 100 million tons of bricks, stones and mud were used to build it, which was a modern construction before the production of modern machinery, and in this sense, it is considered a remarkable masterpiece. The materials for building the wall were transported in different ways, such as by hand, shoulder, waist, wheel, and wheel rope, and animals such as camels, horses, and even goats. Additionally, it has recently been discovered that the wall's strength was partly due to the use of sticky brass throughout its structure. The completion of the walls of the Ming period took more than 100 years, which was not continuous due to internal political conflicts. By the end of the 16th century, the Great Wall of China was completely completed. It is interesting to know that the Cultural Heritage Administration and the National Mapping Administration of China have announced that 8,851.8 kilometers of the Great Wall of China were built during the Ming dynasty. Ming dynasty architects created plaques and decorative reliefs in some parts of the Great Wall of China, which can be seen today in the sections near Beijing, as well as in Zhejiangwan and the Yanhesheng Wall. During this period, the Great Wall of China found its present form, and was more than a simple wall, because it became a part of the main infrastructure of the country and directed water flows. In addition, a large part of it was built on high mountains to use the slope of the mountain as a defensive advantage. As a result, China was not only safe from the harassment of the northern invaders of the country from the Tibetan Plateau to the west, but also protected from the Pacific Ocean to the east. This wall crosses rivers, valleys, and other challenging areas, and considering the time periods it was built, there is no doubt that it is an engineering marvel. It was in the 1930s that the Great Wall of China played an important role in the history of this country. Before and during the Second Sino-Japanese War, the United Front used the Great Wall as a physical barrier to defend against northern invasion. Today, thousands of bullet holes can be seen along the wall, left over from the battle with the Japanese. In the 3 centuries after the collapse of the Ming dynasty, Chinese intellectuals saw the Great Wall as a symbol of the country's mistakes, often saying that it had led to a waste of human lives and vast resources. For this reason, the Great Wall of China is considered only as a cultural treasure in the relatively modern history of the country. In addition, the Great Wall of China, like many temples, ancient works and arts of China, was considered one of the old symbols of feudalism, which had hindered the progress of the country. In the 1960s, Mao's Red Guards destroyed parts of the wall's feudal monuments. Even before the Cultural Revolution and the Red Guards, Mao encouraged farmers to use the stone and bricks of the Great Wall as free building materials. During Mao's era and after that, farmers went to fill their land with the crushed soil of parts of the ramparts and wall fortifications, and used its stones to build houses and walls, etc. Fortunately, Deng Xiaoping, who succeeded Mao, understood the symbolic value of the Great Wall and declared in 1984, "Love China, rebuild the Great Wall." In this way, the restoration of the Great Wall of China began. Especially the parts near Beijing, and the Badaling Wall was the first place to undergo restoration. Despite Deng Xiaoping's efforts, the Great Wall of China is still under attack by humans and nature, especially in polluted areas. Although no one knows for sure, wall officials have estimated that more than 2/3 of the wall may have been damaged or destroyed. Meanwhile, the rest of the wall is in a bad condition. The Great Wall of China was built over 2,000 years by 19 different dynasties from the 7th century BC to the 16th century AD. 4. People played the most important role in its construction: a duke of the Zhou dynasty, the first emperor of the Qin dynasty, Emperor Wu of the Han dynasty, and General Qi Jiguang of the Ming dynasty. The Great Wall of China is a huge structure that spans several provinces in northern China. However, the most famous part of it that has been restored is located in the north of Beijing. The Great Wall of China starts near the border of Korea and the Bohai Sea, and extends to the Gobi Desert in Yangquan and passes through 9 provinces and autonomous regions in northern China such as Hebei, Beijing, Shaanxi, Inner Mongolia, Ningxia, and Gansu. In addition to the difficulty in determining the exact length of the Great Wall of China, historians are still discovering parts of the wall. For example, in October 2002, a new 80 kilometers long section of the Great Wall was discovered in northwest China. A few months before that, Chinese archaeologists managed to find parts of the 2,000-year-old wall that belonged to the Han dynasty. In any case, if only the distance between the two sections of the farthest points of the Great Wall of China is considered, it is approximately 6,700 kilometers. However, most calculations have estimated its length between 6,276 and 7,242 kilometers. Some estimates include the total length of the various walls built in all Chinese dynasties, which is about 50,000 kilometers. The Guinness Book of Records records the length of the wall's main line as 3,460 kilometers, excluding the additional 3,532 kilometers of its branches. Although the length of the Great Wall of China is still debated by many people, the Cultural Heritage Administration of China and the State Mapping Bureau recently conducted the most Comprehensive archaeological survey of the wall and concluded that the total length of the wall is 8,851 kilometers. The main purpose of building the Great Wall of China was to protect the Chinese Empire from the invasions of the northern nomads. However, it rarely prevented invaders from entering China, and was instead more of a psychological barrier between northern and southern civilizations and a symbol of Chinese resilience. Another purpose of building this huge structure was to strengthen border control. This issue included imposing taxes on imported and exported goods from the Silk Road, controlling domestic and foreign trade and immigration from the borders. The height of the Great Wall of China reaches an average of 7.8 meters, however, some parts are shorter or taller, with a height of 14 meters being observed. What did not seem to change much over the centuries was the fact that the Chinese rulers could order hundreds of thousands of citizens to work on this great project. Many cities were built along the wall, which were not only a place to house the workers, but also an industrial area for blasting stones and baking bricks. During the construction of the Great Wall during the Qin, Han, and Ming dynasties, there was even a special punishment for criminals that included working on the Great Wall. Scientists who have researched this wall have found documents that show that if a criminal died before the end of his sentence, a member of his family would replace him. In addition to prisoners, peasants were also called for years of hard work on the Great Wall of China. Throughout China's long history, countless peasants were exempted from paying taxes for their years of toil. In general, according to historical documents, many workers died of starvation and exhaustion or were killed by the commanders. It seems likely that more than 1 million people died during the construction of the Great Wall of China. Basically, the Great Wall of China consists of 3 important structures, which are walls, passages, and signal towers. The walls form a major part of the entire structure of the Chinese wall, and their height is between 6 and 9 meters on average. The width of the base of the walls often reaches 6.5 meters and 5.8 meters at the top. In some places where the land is uneven, natural features such as river dikes, mountain cliffs and gorges have been used instead of human construction. Crossings, where the Great Wall of China intersected with major trade routes, safe crossings were built. These intersections are about 10 meters high and their width is 5 meters at the top. The passageways had ramps and ladders that were used to pass horses, merchants, and soldiers to both sides of the wall. Signal tower, these high fortifications were located at a distance of 18 kilometers from each other and were usually located on top of the hills and were used to transmit information and military communications. Smoke signals were used during the day and fire or lanterns at night. Some other modes of signaling included using large flags, making loud noises, or firing guns. In the lower part of these towers, there was a resting place for soldiers, a storage compartment and stables for keeping horses, sheep, etc. The Great Wall of China is very long and there are many places you can visit. The most popular part of the Great Wall of China for walking is between Samatai and Jinshanliang, which takes about 4 hours to cover the distance of 10 kilometers. Some parts of this wall are steep and it takes some time to pass them. Badaling is the most popular and most crowded section of the Great Wall, which has been carefully restored. In fact, this is the most commercialized section of the wall that most tourists visit. The northern passage has undergone extensive reconstruction, and was the first section to be opened for tourism in 1957. The Badaling walls were built during the Ming Dynasty as a strategic passage north of Beijing, and since they are located in the mountainous heights, they offer tourists an extraordinary view. Badaling is the most famous and busiest part of the Great Wall of China. Zhuyongguan is located near the Badaling Wall and is considered to be a work of the Ming period, which has been extensively restored. This section, which is located 50 kilometers northwest of Beijing, is considered the closest section of the wall to Beijing, and although the view around it is not as attractive as Badaling, it is worth visiting due to the less crowd of tourists. In this place, you will see a castle that is located between tall towers and controlled the access to Beijing for centuries. In addition, there is a rare structure called Yuntai or cloud platform in this place. This platform, which is made of granite and marble stones of Fangshan Mountain, has a beautiful arch decorated with reliefs. Muishanyu is the longest section of the Great Wall of China, the most restored, and not only easy to access, but also suitable for walking. This section stretches thousands of meters above the mountain, and forms a triangle similar to a cow's horn, which is also known as the Cow's Horn Wall. If you are not limited in terms of time, it is better to avoid seeing the upper parts of the wall and instead go to the Muishanyu section, 50 kilometers east of Badaling. Although this part is located 90 kilometers northeast of Beijing, it has good views and less tourist population. Muishanyu was opened to the public in 1986, and in addition to walking, it is possible to go up to the top of the wall by cable car. With so many food vendors, several hotels, and fun attractions adjacent to the wall, it's no wonder tourists love to walk along this section of the Great Wall of China. Samatai is far more secluded than other parts of the Great Wall of China, but according to many tourists, it has a much more beautiful view than the upper parts. Samatai is stretched for 5.5 kilometers. And since it has a very steep slope, it is not suitable for elderly tourists and travelers with small children or physical limitations. For example, to climb the 70-degree slope known as the stairway to heaven, you have to get on all fours. This part is stretched along the top of high mountains and rocks, and the builders used only a few layers of bricks to build the wall, making optimal use of nature. The best part of Samatai is the stone overpass and the stairs leading to the ferry tower. This overpass overlooks deep valleys on both sides and led to the stairway to heaven, which consists of a narrow mountain path for one person to walk through. Jinshanliang is located 150 kilometers from Beijing and west of Samatai, and is suitable for those looking to see relatively undeveloped parts of the Great Wall of China. Despite the fact that Jinshanliang has not been substantially restored, it is the second most complete section of the Great Wall of China after Badaling. This 10-kilometer section has many standing structures such as watchtowers and ramparts that show off the architectural style of Ming towers. There are up to 67 towers in this place. Most of them are two-story and in different shapes of square, round, and even strange angles. an unusually large tower called the Storehouse Tower is located in Jin's Hanliang district, protected by a wall in front, defensive barriers and a 60-meter wall below, and was used as a garrison headquarters during the Ming period. Some of the unique features of this section include shot holes, barns, and towers with window frames made of marble and granite. To truly experience the Great Wall of China, head to Jiangkou, which is significantly off the tourist radar, yet close to Muishanyu and easily accessible from Beijing. This section looks rugged and potentially dangerous, and is therefore not recommended for the casual hiker with inappropriate footwear. In fact, a January 2011 article in the China Daily reported that Jiangkou was the most dangerous outdoor recreation area in Beijing in 2010. For adventurous and experienced travelers, it is worth visiting this wall, especially the white rock sections that are stretched in the mountainous areas. The most famous part of the wall is Juyan Lu or Nine-Eye Tower, which is located near the borders of Huayuro and Yanqing. This is the largest tower from the Ming period, the only watchtower in the history of the Great Wall of China. With 36 openings, including a row of 9 openings on each side. Almost all Ming towers were 3-eyed or 5-eyed, and this tower, with a height of 1,300 meters above sea level, is the tallest tower along the wall. Huanghuachan is located between Badaling and Muishanyu and is shaped like a crescent moon. Huiming Lake divides this wall into 3 parts, so that the main parts of the wall are placed in the water. This area becomes very beautiful, especially in the spring months with the blooming of yellow flowers. Although Huanghuachan has a unique setting, it is one of the less visited areas of the wall and is a great choice if you are looking to avoid the crowds. In addition to walking along the wall, you can go boating or walk around the lake and cross the dam instead of climbing the mountain. There is also a beautiful chestnut garden next to the wall, which dates back to the Ming dynasty, and it is worth visiting. Gubikao is one of the spectacular parts of the Great Wall of China, because it has not been restored and you can watch a real piece of this masterpiece without any interference. More than 130 battles have taken place here. Gobaigo has several towers with unique architecture and rugged and mountainous scenery. This route is generally suitable for walking, although there are also big hills in it. For hiking, you can go from Gobaigo to Jin's Hanliang, which takes about 5 hours. Walking is the most popular activity you can do while visiting the Great Wall of China. In addition, night hiking, marathon, camping on the wall and watching the great mountain view are other options. In front of you, night walk. Samatai is the only part of the Great Wall of China that is lit up at night. Between the 5th and 6th watchtowers, it is lit up at night, and thanks to the cobblestone path, it is possible to climb it easily. At night, you can see a beautiful view of Gobi Blue City Promenade located at the bottom of the mountain. After your night visit to the Great Wall of China, visit this resort that hosts tourists with hot springs next to 5-star hotels. Marathon. The Great Wall Marathon, usually held in May, first took place in 1999 and is noted for its challenging course, stunning views of the Great Wall, and peaceful villages. This marathon is one of the top 10 marathon routes in the world, which attracts many runners from all over the world to China. In addition to running, participants sometimes have to walk the slope of the wall on their hands and feet. Camping, if you love the outdoors and want to have a special experience on the Great Wall of China, camping is a good choice. Undoubtedly, by looking at the ridge of the Great Wall and listening to the sounds of the environment at night, you can imagine how the Northern Guards of China looked after their country centuries ago. The best season for camping is early fall, when if you're lucky, you might be able to see the Milky Way at night. Cable car, the Great Wall of China is built on high mountains, and therefore, to climb it, you usually have to walk for about an hour on mountain paths and walk the same way back. Fortunately, some parts of the wall are equipped with cable cars for tourists so that they don't need to walk anymore. In the Muishanyo section, there is another attractive way called roller coaster cars to go down the wall. You just have to sit on these cars and go down the valley easily. Jin's Hanliang cable car and Badaling train are also other options in front of you. Paragliding, thrill lovers should not miss paragliding when visiting the Great Wall of China. Some sites, including wingchina.com, offer you the chance to jump off the edge of the Samatai Wall and ride down the canyon. Paragliding is possible in all parts of the wall that are open to the public. After flying down the valley, many people enjoy hiking on the way back. The Great Wall of China has many attractions throughout the year, but the weather condition and tourist crowd will affect your experience. Since most people visit the parts of the Great Wall of China near Beijing, focusing on the weather in this area, the best time to visit is spring, April to May, and autumn, September to November. In autumn, thanks to less rain, favorable air temperature and more sunny days, you can enjoy walking and photographing the scenery. Spring and autumn are the best times to visit the Great Wall of China. The weather in Beijing is delightful in spring, although March is still too cold to walk on the Great Wall of China. The months of April and May, with an average temperature of 11 to 24 degrees Celsius during the day are recommended for visiting the Great Wall of China. In the end, thank you for supporting me by liking this clip and following my channel.